everybody, I want to go over a possible future purchase. It might be an interesting play. It is a bit riskier than some of the ones that I normally do. So as top investor Bill Ackman wants to buy a unicorn. And I'll leave the link below. Bill Ackman, who's a billionaire and a hedge fund manager, did paperwork with the SEC to sell stock in a blank check company, term for publicly traded firms with no or limited operating assets. So what they're trying to do is get more assets from other investors at this point. They're going to have a ticket symbol PSTH, so that is something to consider putting. PSTHU shows that it's an underwriting and it's a pending holding, so something that you can put on Seeking Alpha to see when it's available. Plans to raise at least $3 billion and as much as $6.45 billion, largest deal ever. Now, what are they actually trying to do? They're trying to buy numerous high-quality venture-backed businesses. Okay? Essentially, Bill Ackman, who wants to make this fund so he could buy other small companies similar to venture capitalists. Okay? Many companies chosen to remain private. Right now, we're not sure if it will be an IPO or a SPEC, and I'll go over those shortly. So he's a famous activist investor. He'll take a lot of money from other hedge fund investors from his hedge fund, Pershing Square, and then he'll buy large percentages of, say, Wendy's, Starbucks, Chipotle. He did a big one on Burger King a few years ago and essentially made that into a private company. He did hedge against the market recently. He made $2.6 billion in profit, essentially buying puts on the stock markets to go down a bit, and it actually did. He's been doing that for years, but actually cashed them recently. So is he going to get a SPAC or an IPO? Blank check firms or special purpose acquisition properties or SPACs are popular ways to make their debuts. A few big ones that you might have heard of: Virgin Galactic, DraftKings, and Nikola Electric Truck Company, all gone public with these mergers. It's an easier way for them to go into funding than an IPO. Companies having multiple conversations with potential targets. Some decide to sell new shares on the private market. Those are called IPOs, but it takes a little bit more paperwork. It's usually a little bit longer. Pershing Square Tontine called the IPO process uncertain and risky in its filing and significant expenses. There's another article, just wanted to quickly summarize. He wants to raise up to $1 billion in this company. He'll be putting up a large percent as well. When they scale a new investment, they typically do large amounts, $500 million to $1 billion. So essentially, this company will be looking at acquisition targets to own pretty big in equity and then get back to shareholders. Third article, so it's going to be the biggest of its kind. They use proceeds with borrowed funds to acquire a company, typically within 2 years. They don't know in advance which company they're going to buy, so this makes it very risky. We're essentially going with Bill Ackman, who is a successful trader, but we don't necessarily know if he's going to make good targets on it. Big one was he made with Burger King for $1.4 billion in cash in 2012, which turned into a stock and has been a pretty good purchase for not only them, but for the company as well. So if you actually buy this company, you're going to be buying a $10 unit, almost like a $10 share price. Usually they start to $10 a unit. What they're trying to do is to make a more manageable share count to possibly get more equity. These purchases are different than public units. Here's where it gets a little complicated. The purchases are 1 share and 1/3 of a warrant. Normally, this one's going to be $20 a share. You still get a share plus 1/9 of a warrant, so less of the warrants. And I'll go over what a warrant is shortly. The public has the ability to receive its contingent right to receive an additional 2/9 of a warrant if they don't redeem their shares. So essentially, you need to hold on to your shares for a good amount of time. They don't want people getting in and out of this company very frequently because they're trying to acquisition and get big companies. So because of that, you could receive 3/9 or 1/3 of a warrant from this. So what's an actual warrant? A warrant for stocks give the holder the right to buy shares at a certain price before the expiration. Okay, so if the stock is very valuable, you will want to take your warrants and cash them in for additional shares of stock. Okay? So when it's exercised, the company is using new shares. You'll have more shares outstanding. Warrants can be bought and sold up until a certain date. If the stock price is below the warrant strike price, the warrant still has some time value, just like options do. But obviously, we want it to be worth more than $20 in order for it to be a good play. So again, if you go to Seeking Alpha, type in PSTHU. It's not available yet, still pending. There's only 83 followers right now, but it should dramatically increase whenever we have more information about when it comes out. I think this will be a very speculative play, and I possibly will put a few $100s into it just to see what happens, and so I can learn more about warrants. And you could be in Bill Ackman's firm for relatively cheap amounts. This is for the holdings. Initial size we're looking for $3 billion, but it could go higher. Again, you get one share, one redeemable warrant, adds a 2/9 warrant as long as you hold it for 24 months, plus the 6 months for the distributable warrant. So you're going to have to hold this for at least a few years in order to make a good return on it. Or if the share price does go up, you could make a small amount, but this is one that you want to keep for a few years. Additional terms for purchase. Pershing Square, Bill Ackman will commit 1 billion of units, and then he's looking for other investors to put in more. So if you're interested in hedge fund type money, but you don't want to pay hedge fund type fees, this could be a possible option for you. Any questions or thoughts, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Like, share, and all that good stuff.